congratulations on your home purchase, Mr. Humphries. I know you'll be very happy in this community. And here are your keys.
We did it! Oh, God, I'm so glad we're done with renting. Finally, some stability, you know? No more emails to landlords about mould, no more rent increases.
Well, it is my honour to present this to you from all of us at Ray Hooker.
Finally, we can put a nail in the wall for a painting.
Wait. Is that your deposit? Like all of it?
Yeah, the bank said that was enough.
Oh.
You gotta be joking. That? What? Oi, come and look at this dickhead's deposit.
Where's the rest of it, you dickhead? And where are your pants?
Hang on. This is a dream, isn't it?
Yeah, as if you'd be able to afford a home.
Obviously, it's a dream, as if I'd be married to you.
But if a D-grade celebrity like me can't afford a home, then who can?
That's why it's called the Australian dream, mate. 'Cause that's the only place you can afford it.
Welcome to breakfast and great news for mortgage holders with the Reserve Bank keeping its rates.
Call me a dickhead. Well, at least it's Saturday. Oh no, it's Saturday. Owning a home might be the dream, but I'm living my actual nightmare, trying to find a rental property in the middle of a housing crisis. And that means one thing. Queuing. For the last few weeks, I've been stuck in queues like this. And it's not even a good queue, like a queue to buy the new iPhone or a dessert that's blown up on TikTok. No, this is a queue to find some place to live. And I'm not alone. I mean, that's the nature of a queue, but I'm also not alone in feeling, what's the delicate way of putting this? Pretty bloody annoyed. What is your current housing situation?
We currently rent.
I am a renter.
Living with 3 renters.
How many places do you think you've seen?
Probably 25.
40 and 50 of them.
What sort of place are you able to afford on a nurse's salary?
A mouldy place?
Landlords don't really care about maintaining the place.
I've got water pouring in my apartment.
Just had 2 cupboards and a microwave. That's all it was. And it was $560 a week. It felt like that if we all jumped up and landed, the house would just fall apart.
And I'm still having to move out because they're putting the rent up.
Almost a third of people, including myself, are renters, and that figure is climbing. As for rents, they've shot up by over a third since COVID. At the same time, house prices are rising and rising, leaving us with little chance of buying, possibly ever. So, what the hell has led to this housing crisis? How can we solve it? One person has become synonymous with the debate on housing in Australia, and that name is... Really? That's his name? Purple Pingers. I don't know what that means, but he runs the Shit Rentals database. To be clear, it's the rentals that are shit, not the database. It helps highlight the plight of renters and the dumps they're forced to live in.
Hello, welcome back to Shit Rentals with your host, Purple.
Mr. Pingers has built himself a huge social media following.
It reminds me of that prison in Iraq where they tortured all of those people.
What was shit about your rental?
A couple of rats.
A couple of them?
Yeah, like, honestly, fine. Worse things have happened to better people.
So what are the standout horror stories from the Shit Rentals?
There's this one guy reached out and he was, like, on the phone, nicest guy I've probably ever spoken to. And he's like, man, you got to come see this. You, like, squelch down through the house. We go into the shower.
Check with the shower drains too.
We went out the back.
The entire shed is made of asbestos, which is fantastic.
And he was like, we just got a rent increase. But he was like, you know, we have a deal. I live in a shithole. You don't increase my rent.
We had a deal. You slowly kill me.
Yeah.
But
for free, almost.
There's a cap on it.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay. So...
But is that just the price you pay for wanting to live in the city? Or is the problem more widespread? Well, Parramatta, 26 k's from the centre of Sydney. A house up for sale, but for now, it's being leased out.
The owner haven't done any renovation here. The walls hasn't been painted or peeling, which is the beauty of the home. At the moment, we have 6 rooms here, each room between 250 to 300. All the rooms have the share shower here. They've got share kitchen, Most of the people that are renting here, they are new arrival to Australia. They don't have much money. We've got students close to university, and we've got nurses close to Westmead Hospital. We've got another toilet here. It's very funny. 4 years ago, it was in the best building in Parramatta, which was Meriton. 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom used to go $550 per week. And now 2-bedroom there, it goes $1,000 a week.
Well, that was bleak. Next time you're being taken care of by a nurse, think about where they're going back to after their 20-hour shift. As if the queues, the rising prices, the real estate agents, the bidding against other renters, the wasted Saturdays wasn't bad enough. And then to top it all off, you've got those people who say to you,
"Why don't you just buy a house?"
Oh yeah, because that's easy.
We had that dream of buying an old place and doing it up, but it's just unaffordable now.
To buy an average property in Sydney costs 13 times what the average income is, which is just not really tenable.
I asked some of my friends how they had done it and covered their identity so they'd be more honest.
Look, my wife and I worked really hard. We were both working when we were quite young, and we saved up a substantial deposit. It was really down to our hard work.
We had both been saving for almost, I reckon, 15 years.
I got my place by staying at home until I could afford it.
did you receive any help?
Well, I mean, my parents did kick in some money.
I did get a little bit of help from Mum and Dad.
Yeah, we got a big chunk when my partner's dad died.
Like 100 grand or so, but that's not like that was the most important part. Mark, what the hell are you doing?
But who can blame them? Recent data shows that 60% of first home buyers rely on the Bank of Mum and Dad. It's so popular, in fact, that if it were a real bank, it's estimated the Bank of Mum and Dad would be somewhere between the 5th and 9th largest lender in the country. It would also definitely have the worst app. I mean, just think of the font size.
And the application process would be a nightmare, as I found out with my own dad.
Take a seat. Now, I'll need you to fill out these forms.
Hang on, what are these?
Just standard documents. Mark, is it?
Yeah.
Now, I'll need your last 2 tax returns, a list of assets and liabilities, and a bank statement.
Wait, what?
What's your current employment?
Well, I'm currently hosting this documentary.
Well, they couldn't get Miriam Margolyes for this. Dependents.
Just your grandchildren?
Credit history.
No debts that I'm aware of.
Oh, there's that tikka masala you owe me for. Mr. Humphreys, no, I'm afraid we'll not be able to provide you with a loan at this stage.
What? Why not?
Well, I'm renting too.
Oh,
If the Bank of Mum and Dad isn't an option, you're really in trouble. Property, or homes, have just become so out of reach that it's locking out the next generation. The average person stepping out of renting into home ownership has to save 150 or even 200 grand in the big cities, and they have to do that while paying rental costs, which climb higher than wages do each year. So, who do we blame for the inflated cost of housing?
The agencies or the landlords, are they increasing the prices?
Falls back onto the politicians. Foreign investment, perhaps.
Well, I know which one flies best on the news.
Foreign investors.
Foreign investors.
Foreign investors.
Foreign cash.
Foreign buyers are extremely wealthy. So you're quite right, Aussies missing out.
Monica, too, is a celebrity real estate agent who primarily looks after ultra-high net worth Chinese buyers. And yet, she's clearly on struggle street. I mean, her car's missing a roof.
Are you Mark?
I'm Mark.
Oh,
hello, how do you do?
Good to see you. You come and check out the house.
Yeah, I'm now checking out the car. Nice set of wheels.
This one can't come with the house. Depends how much you offer.
Okay.
100%.
Good to know. You're going to show me around a luxury property? Yes.
Look at that.
Oh, man.
Ooh, la la. The guide price for sale is $13.5 million. And to rent, probably about, we don't want to rent it, obviously.
Well, but hypothetically.
$4,500. Wow, you're really tall.
$4,500 per month?
Per week. I think that's probably very good feng shui. You have the water, you can hear that incredible sound.
I've seen rentals that have leaks like that, but this is slightly different.
Have a look here. Our butler's kitchen. So you can have your like a soy sauce here, you know, or you don't do soy sauce, Vegemite, whatever that is. So you got
I can
your...
have soy sauce. I think the wine collection is more than I have for a house deposit.
Change your profession. Maybe you should be a real estate agent.
I think there is a lesson to this, yeah. So overseas buyers are most of your clients?
So for people to buy a house like this, which is established, only Australian residents or citizens can buy, even though they probably work overseas, or maybe they just come to Australia, but they have to be a permanent resident or citizen. For my clients, a lot of them are Chinese, of course, because you look at me, I'm Chinese. so maybe currently they're still in China or somewhere else, right? But they definitely come back to live. Because if you buy the house, you don't live here, you have to pay a lot of money in terms of land tax and surcharge. I just give you a figure. So this is from a Financial Review, right? So 2 years, 23 to 24, properties sold to like foreign buyers is less than 1%. Less than 1%? I don't know what impact we make for foreign investors.
Foreign buyers not being able to buy existing homes, huge taxes, I had no idea. And less than 1% of sales? Gee whiz. I thought I'd cross-check these claims that foreign investors aren't a major reason for rising housing costs with someone who wasn't a celebrity real estate agent.
Statistically, yes, less than 1% of home sales typically in a year are to foreign investors. And so obviously that's a minor impact on the market.
Do you hear any anecdotal suggestions that perhaps there is actually a greater percentage of foreign investors, but they're just doing it through more secretive means?
Look, I have heard people tell me that there's a lot of foreign investors and they go to auctions, for instance, and that's how they know. I'm always amazed at their, you know, X-ray vision to be able to recognise someone's citizenship, you know, just by looking.
Passport controls at every auction, isn't it?
So, if it's not wealthy foreign investors driving up prices, is it other newcomers coming to our shores?
You do hear a lot of people saying that immigration has an impact on house prices. What do you say to that?
Well, absolutely. Housing demand is in part driven by population growth. And in Australia, our population growth is driven 50-50 by, you know, natural increase as well as by immigration. So we do need to keep housing supply on the boil. But can we blame that population growth for the escalation in house prices? You know, if we could, then we would have seen during the COVID period a dramatic reversal of house prices. In fact, population growth went backwards when we closed the borders, but house prices actually galloped away higher than ever. In fact, I think they rose by more than $1 trillion in terms of the value of our housing stock over that period of time. We can't blame migration for that.
So, if I can't just blame immigrants, who else is there to blame? To find new culprits, I'm on my way to an auction in Blacktown. It's a renovator's dream, real estate talk for another shithole. The only kind of place that first home buyers like me have a shot at. And it's also popular with property investors.
$820,000. Bidder number 2 is the opening bid. Where do we go from here?
The air was thick with the hopes and dreams of first home buyers.
What do you need to be focused? You're going to lose it for $1,000? We'll bring you an espresso.
But apparently you can't buy a house with hopes and dreams.
At $996,000, sold.
So this one went to a property investor.
Congratulations, bidder number 17.
Not the first home buyers.
We're trying to get in the market with my brother to get a bit of a head start. It feels like it should be easier if you're, you know, working really hard when you're young, but it just doesn't feel like it's fully the case.
I'm not sure that without mum and dad's help, this generation is going to have their own place. Because I don't want them at home forever, put it that way. I want my life back.
This auction is just another example of something that happens every weekend in Australia. Investors beating out first home buyers. Every year, Australian investors buy more homes than first-time buyers do. Sometimes investors who already have 2, 3, 4 or more properties. sometimes a lot more.
Can I ask you out of interest, how many rental properties do you own?
283.
283 rental properties?
Yeah.
My research team has managed to track down one of these evil investors, and I'm going to confront them. Like 71% of Australian investors, she has 2 properties, which may not seem like much, but it's 2 more than me.
I can't even get one house. All right, let's go meet one of these property hoarders. Ah,
Oh, hi, Mark.
Narelle, you're the you're the investor? Oh, okay. Can I come in?
You sure can.
My interview with a heartless boomer investor was off to a bad start. Not only did Narelle and I used to work together, she'd prepared tea and some lovely snacks.
Narelle?
Yes?
Evil investor, thank you for the tea. How many properties do you own?
This one and one around the corner that I lived in before this one. And it's because I met somebody and we ended up buying somewhere a little bit bigger. And so that's kind of like the way things went.
Do you think it's harder for people today to buy their first home than it was when you bought your
Most
first?
definitely. Everyone goes, oh, the Keating years, 17% interest. It was 17% on, do you want to know how much it was? It was just pathetic, $54,000.
Wow.
I know. So really, that's so upsetting. And so
$54,000 for a flat?
Yeah.
In Sydney?
Yeah.
Australia?
Yes, because that's what it was.
But do you feel any guilt about owning multiple properties when so many Australians don't even own one?
I do have these thoughts, but the reality is a lot of people need to rent. But yes, it also earns me money, so that's exactly why one would do it.
It's kind of hard to make sense of the fact that Australia is probably full of people like Narelle, a lovely and considerate person who has invested not because she wanted to be some kind of land baron, but because it made economic sense to do so. Because we have somehow set up a system that encourages people to view housing as a way to make money.
But has it always been like this?
When the British first landed here, they just stole the land off the indigenous people. First they took Eora and Darug country, then they took the lot. Even ex-convicts were given free land, 30 acres and 10 more for every child you had.
Oh, let's have another baby, Elspeth. I want a media room.
After World War I, cheap loans were offered to war veterans, unless you're an Aboriginal veteran. But an even bigger boost for most people was the government freezing rents in the war years and putting price controls on homes and land. In fact, for 60 years up until 1950, house prices in Australia were actually flat.
Wow.
So there was a time when stopping rents and house prices from climbing was something the government wanted to do. But fast forward a few decades, and by then, we all wanted our own home.
At the end of the day, it's still about security.
Hey, that's Ray
And
Martin.
it's about having your own place. That's important to us. Owning your own home seems to make life complete. So at this twilight end of our century, the great Aussie dream is still alive and well. It's just...
What? When was this? 1999. The Great Aussie Dream is still alive and well. Well, it's bloody dead now. Was Ray Martin lying to us? Surely not 5-time gold Logie winner Ray Martin. If you can trust anyone, you can trust Ray Martin. I'm going to call him. We're actually quite good friends. Well, we share a hairdresser.
Hi, this is Ray.
Probably call me back. But I know that Ray couldn't have lied to us. There must be some other explanation. Oh my God! Ray wasn't lying. 1999 was the turning point. Within a couple of years, house prices started to skyrocket. You see, in 1999, the government changed laws around capital gains tax. Now, that's when the tax on the gains from the capital... Sorry, this is too complex. You know how in the movie The Big Short, how they had Margot Robbie in a bathtub to explain all the financial stuff? Could we get Margot Robbie in the bathtub? No. Well, what about Nicole Kidman? Does she understand capital gains tax? Well, who can we get?
Thankfully, we were able to find someone with the right mix of economic literacy and undeniable sex appeal. Financial journalist Alan Kohler.
Now, the capital gains tax is the tax on profits you make from investments like shares and property. Way back in 1999, 3 wealthy businessmen recommended to the Howard government that they replace the existing adjustment for inflation in the capital gains tax with a 50% discount. Australia already had another type of tax deduction called negative gearing. With negative gearing, if your property expenses are higher than your rental income, you can offset those losses against your normal tax bill. So you end up paying less tax. So when negative gearing was joined by a 50% discount on capital gains tax, it supercharged the perceived benefits of owning property. A few other things happened at the same time as well, but together it made house prices start to shoot up. Housing was no longer seen as just a shelter, a place to live. It was also an investment and the best way to build wealth. It also means that the taxpayer, like you, basically give a $96 billion subsidy to those that can buy houses. Got it? Good. Now bugger off.
I thought Alan was just another madman raving in a bathtub, but it turns out he's right.
This is the Ralph Report, named after one of the 3 wealthy business people, John Ralph, former CEO of Rio Tinto and head of the Business Council of Australia. These 3 men suggested the changes to tax laws, which they said would help business investment. But it led to house prices skyrocketing. Let's just check that.
Mark.
Alan, didn't anyone warn them about what could happen to house prices?
Well, one person did have the foresight to see what would happen, but you're not going to like the answer.
It was Mark Latham.
How are you, Mark? Good, how are you?
Mark Latham? Once Labor leader, turned disgraced former Labor leader, turned New South Wales leader of Pauline Hanson's One Nation Party, turned disgraced former New South Wales leader of Pauline Hanson's One Nation Party, turned disgraced independent? But maybe he got one thing right?
This is a multi-billion-dollar free kick for the rich. It will add, through these shoddy capital gains tax proposals, to the great Australian disease of asset and property speculation, particularly in our big cities. It will take away resources from the knowledge economy and put them into the least productive, least honourable aspects of Australian economic activity.
But if Mark Latham was right about that, then maybe he's right about something else.
Most funeral services pride themselves on their compassion.
So-called comedian Mark Humphries is funny as a burning orphanage. Natural-born shits his pants coward.
Alan, there must have been someone else who spoke out about this. Preferably someone who hasn't called me a shits his pants coward.
Well, that rules out quite a lot of people, Mark.
If this whole housing debacle was created by a report to our leaders from a trio of business people, maybe we can fix it if we deliver a report from a trio of renters struggling to get into the housing market. Maya Ziz heads up a leading campaign group.
Everybody's Home is a campaign to fix Australia's housing crisis and make housing more affordable. We're made up of 500 different organisations that work on the front lines of the housing crisis, but we're also made up of 42,000 average Australians who have signed up to the campaign because they're sick of not seeing action on housing affordability. Housing is the key to fixing every aspect of people's lives, so you're not going to be able to deal with any issue that you've got going on in your life unless you have stable housing.
You're both renters?
Yes.
So just tell me a little bit about your rental situation.
I was homeless and I didn't have a job and I was sleeping on the streets, and then they got me into a refuge and it was enough to get me back on my feet and into more permanent housing. I'm back at uni too. It's looking like I'm actually I did really well last semester, not to boast, but I did. I was very proud of myself. It's all because I've got housing. I have something to go home to at the end of the day, and that matters.
So what are the changes that you'd like to see happen?
We want to see tax handouts for investors really wound back. So that's the capital gains tax discount for investors and also negative gearing tax deductions.
Well, what would you say to those people who would say that, oh, if you make those changes, then, that takes another rental out of the market?
Yeah, I mean, houses don't dematerialise when a landlord sells them. A first-home buyer will buy that, and that's, a person who wants to live in that home will buy it. But the other thing...
You say that people who want to live in the house might actually buy it.
Exactly, yeah. Who would have thought?
I haven't come across that in this documentary. Do you have some sort of report we can take it apart?
We do have a report. We have this report.
The renters
which
report.
says, yeah, exactly what needs to change.
Can I make one change? Because they only listen to wealthy businessmen, and I don't think any of us are. If we just put this sticker on, yeah, Ralph Report 2, I don't think we've got a better chance.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
And so we went to take our report to Parliament.
This is the piece of documentation that we've got.
Or at least we tried to. It seems that even though we've named our report after wealthy business people, we may not look like them. So we're struggling to get in.
I'm not rolling.
I just saw you clicking there.
I'm literally not.
But then somebody let us in the back door, and we managed to find a politician who was willing to speak to us. David Shoebridge from the Greens.
Housing is a human right. It's Article 25 of the United Nations human right. It's a basic human need. We're not asking for, gold or jewels. We just want somewhere to live.
Absolutely. And I think in a country as wealthy as ours, it is kind of a fundamental right that you should be absolutely guaranteed.
I'd like to see housing treated more as a human right rather than as an investment vehicle. And if you want to do that, you've actually got to change things like the capital gains tax discount, which set it up as an investment. 60% of people own or have a mortgage. And so they're looking after the majority. Tweak the tax system, have a genuine conversation about immigration and population, somehow tie that to housing. These are tough conversations, and from what I've seen, the major parties aren't yet ready to have it.
The challenge is, can we convince other politicians not named David? I think that's the big challenge.
Although that might not be the biggest challenge. While there are a lot of Davids in Parliament, at the last count 7, there are a lot more of another category: property investors. In the last Parliament, 147 politicians had at least 2 properties. That's 65% of them. A couple even had 7. So it may be an uphill battle to change this, but I've given them a report. My job is done.
Well, it's so great that we've managed to get this report into Parliament with some changes to capital gains and negative gearing. And what's this other stuff?
There's a bit more. There's a bit more we have to do besides fix the tax system. Step 1. The other thing we need to do is get government back into housing. So we need social housing. We need like 940,000 social homes over the next 20 years. It's not a small thing. And we also need to make renting a viable option for people. We need to do something to make renting stable. We need to make leases longer term. We need to limit these unfair rent increases. And we need to give people minimum standards in rental homes.
Excuse me, I just need to make a phone call. Alan, is it true that even if we fix capital gains tax and negative gearing, there's still other things we need to fix?
Well, it's a big part of the problem, but there's
No one silver bullet to make up for years of neglect.
Are you still in the bath?
No comment.
The minor parties and independents clearly believe tax changes are necessary, but the major parties are just not on board.
It wasn't that long ago that one of the major party leaders actively campaigned on changes to negative gearing and capital gains tax. Former Labor leader Bill Shorten took tax changes on housing to 2 elections, but he lost and now he's left politics. Wonder where he is now. Oh, there he is.
Once I got the one-time contender for Prime Minister off the phone, he agreed to an interview.
What was the debate like within the Labor Party about introducing those policies?
There was some trepidation that you can't talk about changing housing tax policy. You'd electrify yourself on it. I have a view that in Australia, our tax system discriminates against the pay-as-you-go earner and favours those with property. How is it fair that the people repairing your cars, the people looking after your sick kids or teachers and firefighters pay more tax than someone who just happens to have enough starting capital to buy a lazy investment which does nothing and just increases in value and you get to keep it?
Do you go along with the narrative that it lost you those elections, or was it the sausage?
Well, the sausage was never the problem. The bread was quite hard, though. That bread roll, if you'd just eaten it in the traditional end-on way, you'd have needed teeth like jaws.
I hear. I sometimes just rip it off.
Just go full protein, skip the carb.
I just go straight in.
But we digress. No, because we had our negative gearing policies in 2016 and capital gains changes then. And we won 15 seats.
Do you think the appetite for change within federal parliament is gone for those changes?
I don't know. Certainly there was a lot of scar tissue after 2019. Everyone seemed on board up to about 8 p.m. on the election night. Afterwards, I was a bit lonely, where apparently no one except me ever wanted to do this.
Do you think politicians are afraid to return to changes to negative gearing and capital gains tax?
I think, though, it's easier politically to focus on supply and not the tax system.
Which is exactly what happened at the 2025 election.
And we've made no changes to negative gearing or capital gains tax. The key, of course, is supply.
That brings the supply of housing on, which is really important.
See? But you know what? At this point, I'm looking for solutions. And if the first one is clearly going to be supply, or building houses, well, let's get to it. And fast. But how? Printing our houses is one new way of increasing supply quickly. Now, that might seem pretty far-fetched, but there was a time when photocopying your ass would have seemed pretty far-fetched too. Nick Holden has been printing houses for 6 years now, and I wanted to see if they actually stack up. Like, literally.
So how long did this take to build, and how does that compare to a traditional build?
We would have printed this in 8 days.
8 days to print?
Correct, on this one particular side.
Okay, and if you were to do traditional methods, what would that be?
Oh, wow, a lot longer. You know, probably triple that amount of time to get it to this level or even more, because I don't know if I could think of a more inefficient way to build.
Right.
So you can imagine, traditionally, you've got a guy with a pile of bricks down here, his mate's carrying them down there, and you're laying brick by block by block by block.
Do bricklayers hate you?
No, they're not around anymore, so that's it. It's hard to get one. Okay. You're paying them more than a surgeon when you can get them. But it's worked, you know, it's got us where we are, but it's time to automate.
Yeah, right.
So we're almost 3 times faster with less people involved.
And your team is just a bunch of nerds?
Yeah, techies, not tradies.
Right, okay, gotcha.
The top here is a composite panel system. So the whole upstairs took 2 days to put up.
Your time-lapse videos must be super quick.
Yeah.
Printing houses may seem far-fetched, but we need to be throwing everything at this problem, because at the same time we're trying to build more houses, we're also losing them, thanks to climate change.
The worst bushfire crisis in the state's history.
An historic flood crisis with thousands of people stranded, homes inundated, as the city sees its worst flooding in its history.
That's the Wilson River. It may not look like much now, but in 2022, it rose above this bridge to trash the northern New South Wales town of Lismore. Over a quarter of private homes were impacted, and more than 1 in 5 were so damaged they were uninhabitable. Thousands of people were left looking for homes practically overnight.
In a place like Lismore, the housing crisis has been accelerated. The government is having to step in by getting more land released and building new homes. It's an opportunity for a fresh start. They're not just building differently, they're also trying out a new model of renting at the same time. It's called build to rent.
Build to rent, it's purpose-built rental accommodation. Yeah, so it's permanent rental. In and amongst the build-to-rent component, there is also a 20% affordable housing component.
I just need to check, so if 20% is affordable, it doesn't mean the other 80% is unaffordable, does it?
Oh, well, it is for low to moderate income earners, absolutely, and I guess it's based on the needs of the area.
And so how many units are you building here?
So on this particular parcel of land, which is about 4,500 square metres, we're building 50 apartments. Because it's purpose-built accommodation and it's held by one owner, Landcom, then it provides tenants with surety on their tenure. For example, a landlord is not going to come and say, I'm selling the apartment or I need the apartment back. It allows the tenants to, you know, hang a picture on the wall and call the place home.
Unheard of, unheard of. Who do you blame for the housing crisis? Where do you think we went wrong as a country?
I think it's a generational thing, really.
Which generation? Name them.
Oh.
Starts with a B, ends with an baby boomer.
It's great the government is building rental properties and making sure at least some are actually affordable. But why doesn't the government build houses and make them all affordable to the scale it used to? Our leaders once spent big on building public housing. They believed providing shelter for everyone was too important to be left to the private sector alone. What's changed?
Australia used to build public housing on a scale unimaginable today.
It's a neat little home, one of thousands badly needed in this city. A young married couple's desperately home hungry. The government is pledged to build 90,000 houses.
Right after World War II, over 20% of all new homes were public housing.
And at Heidelberg will be an estate of 4,500 homes.
But former Liberal PM Robert Menzies began the mass sell-off of public housing to encourage Australians to become what he called little capitalists.
And hope someday to sit under their own vine and fig tree.
Home ownership rates skyrocketed, whereas public housing declined steadily. Less than 4% of Australians now call it home.
Those that can get a spot in our remaining public housing benefit greatly. Like Norrie.
I like that these are our forever homes. We're the people that may have been knocked around by life, so we give each other a lot of grace, space.
That must be lovely to be part of a community. I think, speaking as someone who really don't know my neighbours, it's lovely to see, an environment where people do know each other.
Very much so.
I think I've moved 5 places in the last 6 years. So what is about to happen here?
Well, this area is currently 100% public land and public housing built on it. The proposal from the government is to change that over so 50% private houses on it. And I think 20% affordable and 30% social housing. Having public housing is winning the lottery in life. It's guaranteed a roof over your head.
You said that this was supposed to be your forever home, but that's now not going to be the case. So do you know what's going to happen to you?
No one likes moving house.
Mm-hmm.
We've been promised if we want to stay in the area, we can. But I don't know where else they're going to put a lot of us. I hope that my next place is my forever home.
Chipping away at the public housing model is something happening across our major cities. And while Norrie may have a place to go for now, so many people their age are being thrown back into the rental market. 50, 60-year-olds who don't have a home and have to battle to pay for a roof over their head. And what makes all of this worse is that the government says there's a supply problem, but we're not even using the homes we've already built. In the midst of a housing crisis, there are homes sitting empty all over the country. And I'm about to meet a group of people with a pretty radical solution. This is a vacant property in Melbourne's suburbs, where squatters are taking the housing crisis into their own hands and moving in without the owner's permission.
I don't really know what to expect. I'm guessing, I don't know, graffiti and boarded up windows. I really don't know. So, yeah, let's go see what a squatter's like. Hello?
Hey there.
Hi, I'm Mark.
Cami, nice to meet you.
Hello, Cami. Okay, so this is a squat.
This is a squat.
I got to admit, it looks a lot nicer than I expected. I think I thought there'd be boarded up windows and graffiti. Is it bad that I was expecting a shithole?
I think that's kind of common. I think that's what's expected. I think that's a misconception.
This looks like quite a nice bathroom.
It's nicer than some of the places I've rented, to be honest.
Oh, really? And you live with other people?
Yes, I live with other people.
Okay, let's go meet them.
Let's go.
Didn't realise squatting would actually involve squatting. Do you have any sense of how many vacant properties there might be in, well, let's take Melbourne as an example?
A lot.
Yeah, right. I think it's 97,000 in the greater Melbourne area.
Gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, 97,000 homes empty, and recent estimates are something that there's 30,000 people living rough and a lot more that are housing insecure. So it breaks my heart.
So this is a really obvious question, but I have to ask it. What would you say to those people who say you're living illegally in someone else's property?
Shelter is a human right. That's just how it is. I just can't re-engage in the housing market the way that it is right now.
I'm a qualified social worker. I work. It's not necessarily that I can't afford to rent. It's that I've attended rental viewings and there's 60 other people there trying to fight and compete for these overpriced properties. I just thought maybe I'll have a crack at making use of these empty homes instead. Yeah. It just makes no sense to have so many homes empty and then to be fighting each other for scraps.
Squatting might be pretty frowned upon. That's probably got something to do with the whole moving in for free without permission thing. I get it. But with so many empty buildings like that, maybe there are other ways of turning them into places to live. One group is trying to do this. Housing All Australians is a collection of developers who are combining their skills and working free of charge to fix up dilapidated properties. Developers working for good? This I've got to see.
Do you think there are enough empty properties that could actually then make a dent in the housing crisis?
There is, for sure. You know, if someone can find those empty properties, and I'm sure there's a number of them that are empty, if you can find those and align yourself with builders that really want the best for the community, then definitely. I mean, there's always going to be that crisis, but if you can find any way to reduce it, that's aligning yourself with good people.
Luke's company is normally in the business of constructing new homes, but here they've refurbished a disused building that's about to be tenanted with families needing short-term accommodation, and they did it in just 4 weeks. With all the free labour involved, I couldn't help being a little suspicious, so I did my due diligence and checked out the handiwork.
It works.
But what do these refurbished projects look like when people actually move in? I'm going to visit the tenants living in a previously empty building in Port Melbourne, where Housing All Australians has worked in partnership with a social housing provider. And while building new social housing takes time, this has been done at speed.
G'day. Hi, I'm Mark.
I'm Brian. How are you?
Hello, Brian. Thank you for letting me come to your place. So how do you find it here? What's it like?
It's too good. I got a nice apartment. I have my son living down the road, and it is a much more easier life.
No housemates, that's the dream.
No housemate. That's what in my particular case.
So how long have you been here?
A year and 4 months.
Do you think initiatives like this are really important?
Yeah, I think it's very important that they can develop undeveloped areas which are lying vacant. So someone took the initiative, and I appreciate the stability. And there's no homeowner here who can up the price 20% or whatever it feels like. And it's also not going to close down. Mm-hmm. This house will offer me the stability which I need as an older person.
Rents here are set at 25% of a person's income.
What's it like living here?
You've got a place which you can get up and have a shower and make some breakfast without anybody complaining about it. Where you can keep your belongings and not have to worry about them getting stolen off the streets, especially if you've been there.
What does that do for your sense of self and mental health, knowing you've got a place?
It has made a big difference to my life because I wasn't sure what was going to happen.
This is a heaven for me. Heaven. H-E-A-V-E-N.
Heaven. Meeting these people reminds me what a difference having a stable roof over your head can make in people's lives. I think this basic idea is something that gets lost in our current debate about housing. So, where do we go from here?
I think we saw some really interesting ideas that people are pursuing. I love the idea of 3D printed houses. You can see that it saves on time and money and materials. On the renting side of things, ideas like build to rent provide greater stability for renters. That's all great. I've got to be honest, this is not good enough. And that's no disrespect to that work. I'm talking about the bigger issue we have. It's a mindset issue we have in this country where we are viewing property as a pathway to wealth as opposed to something which is designed for people to live in. At what point did the Australian dream go from owning your own home to owning somebody else's? It's ridiculous. I don't have this great silver bullet solution for this problem other than everyone needs to understand that this is unsustainable and that this is wrong. It's actually morally wrong what we're doing. So get angry about it, because I bloody well am.
We may not have a silver bullet, but maybe we just need the silver foxes. I realised that without getting the homeowners, the boomers, the investors on board, we won't be able to change the Australian mindset. We just need to convince them that they would also benefit from the change. And there was only one man for that job.
Brian! Look, I'm sorry I couldn't take your calls. I was too busy being an Australian icon, you know?
I understand. Ray, you're the only one that can help me. Australia's housing crisis will never be solved as long as homes are treated as an investment strategy instead of as places for people to live. People need to understand that the great Australian dream is no longer alive and well, as you once said, funnily enough, on a building site just like this one.
At this twilight end of our century, the great Aussie dream is still alive and well.
Ray?
What's changed, Mark?
Well, I've just been covering that for the last hour. You'll need to rewind it.
Oh, I don't think that's going to happen. Is there anything I can do to help?
Well, I want to record a message to end this film on housing that reflects the current reality. And we need you. Older Australians will listen to you, Ray. Can you do that?
Yeah, okay. At the twilight end of the 20th century, the great Aussie dream was alive and well. Little did we understand that at that very time, changes were taking place which would supercharge the cost of housing in the lucky country.
As a nation, we became addicted to increasing the value of our homes. But now we have to ask a question of the homeowners out there. Just what is the value of your home if your kids and grandkids now can't afford to live in the same town as you?
Or worse yet, the only way that they can afford to live nearby in your street is by moving in with you and drinking all of your VBs and eating all of your gherkins, even though they don't like VBs or gherkins.
Okay, we've shown the need for greater investment in public housing, new approaches to building, using the empty properties we already have, and tackling our tax system. Just as crucially, we've seen the need to improve the whole experience of renting and provide stability of housing. The tragic reality is, not everyone is going to be able to own a home.
Well, as you've seen, I haven't seen, but there's no one silver bullet for the problem.
Just once I'd like someone to say there is a silver bullet.
Well, the solution can't be, let's just keep doing what we've been doing, because the Australian dream as we once knew it might be over. But it doesn't mean that we have to accept the nightmare.
That was great, Ray. You really love those VBs.
Health food of champions. Was that enough? Did that do it?
That was perfect, Ray.
Okay.
Just one more thing. You couldn't lend me some money for a house, could you?
Let me think about it.